Hi Minister, my question is for you. I note the federal government has committed $100 million in funds to the World Health Organisation to prevent, prepare and respond to pandemics. Could you please explain why we're committing such a large amount of money to the World Health Organisation when at the same time we are ignoring the role of state governments and the role they played managing COVID here in Australia, number one, and wouldn't that money be better spent on frontline health services here in Australia?
Thank you, Senator Rennick. Dr. Lucas Otoga, First Assistant Secretary, Global Health Division. Pleasure to see you and conversing with you about W.H.O.
Likewise.
Despite my transfer of departments. The $100 million on that you referred to is comprised of two different approaches. $75 million as part of a strategic partnership framework with the W.H.O, which is $15 million of voluntary contribution a year over the 2022-2027 period. And then an additional $25 million for the Well Health Emergencies Program, $21 million for the WHO per se, and $4 million for GOAN, which is our public health response network. So it's three different streams supporting a commitment to a global health architecture that enables a coordinated response for pandemic events like the one we just suffered over the last 4 years.
Sorry to interrupt you there. Is that money being spent here in Australia on services here in Australia, or is that money going to the bureaucracies of the World Health Organisation?
That money is part of our contribution to the World Health Organisation with a particular focus in our immediate region, so our commitment to strengthening global health systems in the Indo-Pacific region.
Well, I'm more concerned about strengthening our health system, and I would have thought the best way to do that is to invest in frontline services here in Australia. In particular, maternity services would be a good example.
So with respect, Senator, I'm not sure that dichotomy is correct, because this funding comes from our development assistance funding, and as such is from a different bucket to the services that are used, to the funding that is used locally for domestic health service provision.
Senator Wong, do you think this is an appropriate spending of money on such?
Well, Senator, I think you would know, I don't have everything in front of me, but you would know that this government has put substantially more funding into the domestic health system through bulk billing incentives, the investment into Medicare rebates, etc., than has been the case for a long time. I appreciate you have a different view about multilateralism and international.
I don't at all. I know you've accused me of that before, but that's not true. No. It's the way the money's spent.
Sure. What my point is, I think if the pandemic shows us anything, is that there are challenges in which all of humanity have a shared interest, and to have structures which enable us to respond globally is important for the security of Australians.
But health is delivered locally.
So do I think it is important to have a functioning World Health Organisation? Yes, I do.
And I don't dispute that.
Sure,
it's a question of how the money's being spent, Minister.
Sure.
And it's not about multilateralism, it's versus front-end services versus bureaucracies.
No,
and I struggle to understand why you're spending so much on a foreign back-end bureaucracy versus front-end service.
All right. Well, that's a political view. I mean, I've answered your question, Senator.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Authorised G. Rennick, LNP Chermside.